What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Whales and Locks. And in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look at 5 teams who right now I think may not be playing their absolute best basketball that they could be playing by the end of the year, but I do believe have the combination of talent and coaching to get them really far, potentially in the NCAA tournament. So teams to definitely monitor as time goes on, and to possibly have advanced far in your tournaments. So basically this video, we'll be trying to find the next 5-seeded Auburn who made it to the Final Four 2 years ago, or 11-seeded Loyola Chicago 3 years ago. So hopefully some of these teams remain somewhat dormant so that by March we can collectively say that we all took these teams and we knew way beforehand. But you all already know some of these picks by March. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the top 5. I'll start at number 5 and work my way to number 1. And 5 being the least likely team that I think can make a run to the teams that I think have the best chance to make a run. So we'll start at number 5 with North Carolina. You can see some of their statistics on the season listed below. The biggest reason I love Carolina in March is their mix of youth and experience at all 5 positions. Their big guys like Garrison Brooks, Armando Bacot, have been with the team before and have had to teach their freshman guys like Darion Davis inside, as well as Caleb Love at the guard position, to really teach them about the college game. So North Carolina had a brutal schedule, absolutely, to start the year, and that really hurt them. They had a really poor start, losing 4 of their first 9 games. 2 of those games were to Texas and Iowa, so definitely a tough schedule. And freshmen just overall take time to develop, and I believe this North Carolina team is starting to see that freshman talent come to fruition a little bit more, as Caleb Love starting to come into his own. He isn't forcing as much as he used to at the point guard position as he was early in the year, and he's shooting the ball far better. So they've recently looked much better in the ACC, winning 6 of their last 7. And the next step for Carolina at this point is to beat the big dogs, beat the good teams in the ACC. Can they beat the Florida States? Can they beat the Virginias? And I think they can. Caleb Love, again, the real deal, and their 3 bigs inside that they rotate, I think would be an absolute nightmare for smaller teams come NCAA tournament time. So let's hope North Carolina doesn't get too hot and gain some of that pedigree back that they always have. So ultimately we can take them as a sleeper team, as a possible couple wins type of team, maybe get to the Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite 8. Now the next team is number 4, will be Auburn. One of the teams out of the SEC, stats below. You may notice a trend, though, with these next 4 teams, and it's great guard play. That's the biggest thing that wins out in the NCAA tournament, is great guard play, and that's certainly what we see here from Auburn. This youngster they have, Sharife Cooper, he's been playing 6 games now. The man has been dominating the SEC. The Auburn was 6-5 before he came onto the team, and now they're 4-2 since he's been with the team. He's averaging a cool 22.3 points per game and 8.7 assists. I would equate this situation to a Murray State type of vibe when they had John Morant 2 years ago and smoked Marquette in the first round. The other part of this team is Bruce Pearl. He's an incredible head coach who obviously led Auburn to the Final Four 2 years ago, so he has that championship aspiration. He has those championship abilities. And great coaching is just so vital in March. So I think when Cooper is playing, this team is absolutely scary. And someone that I think by March will have far more recognition. We just need to hope that they can squeak in as a possible 11 or 10 seed, maybe even a 12 seed, last 4 in type of team, so they could hopefully pull some upsets for us here. At number 3, we've got Rutgers, stats below again. Again, a team led by great guard play. A theme of this video: Ron Harper Jr., Geo Baker, Jacob Young, the big 3 at guards. They also have an elite defensive big in Miles Johnson. 4 wins against the Quad 1 is very impressive, with 3 of those being Syracuse, Illinois, and Purdue. I think the thing that jumps out most to me is this team's versatility and ability to switch offensively and defensively some of their schemes very quickly. When you watch them as a team, they're constantly changing. Whether they're in 2-3 zone, they're in a man, they're constantly adjusting. And I think that's a great ability to have in the tournament, because you have no idea what teams you'll end up playing further in the rounds, or maybe even the next round. So I do believe Rutgers, similar to Illinois, is one of the more talented teams in college basketball who just hasn't found their stride yet. They did early in the year. They scuffed for a little. They just blew out Michigan State, looked great in that game. And talent truly wins out in the tournament. And I think that's what we'll see in Rutgers, that they'll probably win a couple games, maybe one or two, because I believe they're truly set up to make a good run with their quality guards as well as Miles Johnson. The number 2 team on this list, LSU. Thing about LSU, I don't mean to keep beating you guys over the head with this concept, but guard play. That's what's been carrying teams in the NCAA tournament forever now. It's what LSU was built off of, similar to Auburn specifically with their freshman phenoms. Cam Thomas being the freshman phenom for LSU, averaging 22.1 points per game. This guy's an absolute bucket. It's hard to not watch him when he's on the court. The situation is very similar, like I said, to the one with Auburn. 2 SEC teams, 2 great freshman guards. The other guard for this team is Javonte Smart. He's averaging 14.6 points per game and shooting a ridiculous 44% from the three-point line. So overall, this team can really score the ball. I mean, ridiculously averaging 83.7 points per game. As long as LSU's opponent in the tournament is not some crazy defensive team, I think they can run and gun and play their style. I love this team's athleticism, and I love the fact that Will Wade is the coach. He's been there before. He's coached good teams. He's gotten to the Sweet 16 before. He's made noise. And I really think this team can make some noise in the NCAA tournament. Now, the final team, this is my absolute favorite team. I've been riding this team high very lately. This team is an older team who has been here before, been to the tournament before with these type of guys, and that's Colorado. Part of the reason I think this team is possibly going to make such a great run is they're led by McKinley Wright, who's a definite Pac-12 Player of the Year type of player. And part of the reason I think Colorado gets so little love is that they're in the Pac-12. There's definitely a bias against the Pac-12. Not sure how it started, probably just a West Coast thing, but the Pac-12 is almost never on TV. They're either on TV super late at night or they're on TV randomly on a Thursday at 4 p.m. So we never get to watch these games, so no one really knows much about Colorado. So they're the perfect sleeper team to fit this video. And this team jacks up a lot of threes. They shoot it at a high clip at 36%, and they've got a great big in Evan Batty. So the combination here of great guard play and a nice big, as well as some experience from previous tournaments, I think is something that is huge for Colorado. This is the type of team that I actually think could get to the Elite Eight. Final Four is probably tough, but if they're that hot, they could easily get to the Final Four. So this is definitely my favorite sleeper in this video. So yeah, those are my 5 sleeper teams to be aware of coming into March. As potential bracket busters. If you guys enjoyed this type of different content, let me know. Let me know in the comments, like the video, tell me if you want to see anything else similar to this. I'm trying to branch out just to not stick strictly to predictions. Not going away from that, but yeah, that's all I have for today. More videos soon.